Hi everyone, I am Jenna Anthony. This is Apple Dolly Creations. We're up close and personal here tonight because I have you on a different stand because I want you to not miss one step of what we're doing. I'm going to move you down so you can see the table. This is Bell Week and we are using these tart pans. These are 2 inches deep and we're going to use 3 of these. We're making it tiered bell out of these. And our clacker, the thing that rings on the inside, I still didn't look that up to see if that was what this is called. I'm using, it's a replica of a skeleton key. I got this in Hobby Lobby in the scrapbook section, and this is metal. But you can use any key. You can even use a jingle bell. You know, just anything that make the noise on the inside. We also need a little jingle bell. You need 5, 6, depending on what you want. 2 or 4 hole, or both, buttons. I'm using off-white. I have black, gray, because of the color of the tart pan. 2 1-inch beads. Make sure the hole is all the way through. I have gotten some of these that the hole didn't go all the way through, and it was supposed to. So just make sure your hole goes all the way through. If not, you'll have to drill it out. Or you can always take a nail and hit through it. Sometimes it's just like sawdust built up in there. And you need, this is 20 gauge, hi Marcia, about a 20 gauge, about a 24-inch piece of wire. You don't want to use the paddle wire or the floral wire. Sometimes it's called because it's too thin. You want it to have stiffness, but you want it to be bendable, easily bendable, that you can do by your hand. You do need a pair of pliers. You need just a tiny bit of hot glue. We're not using any paint tonight. And you need to put a hole in the middle of these. Now, I was working on this yesterday because I was trying to work it all out. It was a thought in my head, and sometimes when I get it from my head to my hands, it doesn't work out. So I worked on this yesterday. So I thought, if you don't have a drill, I'll move you down. I used a nail and a hammer. And it puts a hole right through it. So, and you saw I barely hit that. So you need something round. This is a paintbrush I'm using to make the loop on the top of the wire. You can use a pencil, ink pen. So what I'm going to do is just match up the 2 ends. And I'm pulling this, as you see, and I'm going to put my paintbrush in here. And all this is going to do is just make our loop at the top. And I'm going to twist this a couple of times. Okay, there we go. And I'm straightening out this wire because I had this on a roll and I want it as straight as possible. So your jingle bells have a little hanger on the top, right on the top. So I'm taking the one piece of the wire and going right through that opening. I need to put my glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. That's awful when you can't see. Okay, there we go. And then I'm taking the other piece of the wire and I'm going the opposite direction through that opening. And I'm just going to keep working this bell all the way up just by pulling the wires until it gets all the way to the top. And if you have to, you can use a pair of pliers to get this through. Okay, my wire bent. There we go. You want this all the way up to this twist. Okay, and then you can always straighten your wire back out. So this is all the way up there. And it's tight there, so it'll stay there. So I'm taking 5, 6, 2 or 4 hole buttons. Just small ones, just shirt buttons. That's all these are. And I'm using off-white, white, gray, black. Same thing. I'm putting the wire through, one piece of the wire through one hole, and the other wire through another hole. So these have to have at least 2 hole buttons. The shank buttons won't work, and I'm pushing that all the way up to the bottom of the jingle bell. And I'm using 5 or 6 of them. You can use beads if you want. If you have beads and you don't have a bunch of buttons, use that. You can also use, at the Dollar Tree, they have these square beads. You get all of these for $1.25. You can use these on the top of this also. But I have thousands of buttons, so I use them every chance I get. So these tart pans, I picked mine up. I got a huge bag of them for like $10 on eBay. But you can get them at flea markets and yard sales and estate sales. I've even had people contact me and say, hey, we're cleaning out Mom's kitchen and she has these. Do you want them? I'll sell them to you. And I bought them. So I'm not sure how many of these I've got on here, but you want 5 or 6. And I'm not matching up the sizes either. Some are smaller than the others. That's fine. I'm just picking them up and putting them on here. So there you go. So we got our loop, the bell, and some buttons. So this is the finished one. I worked on this yesterday. So if you have a bell collector, I know I would love to get one of these. So I'm taking both pieces of wire at the same time and I'm pushing them through that hole we made on that tart pan. And I'm pushing this all the way up to the buttons. Again, I'm taking wooden ball, both pieces of wire through the wooden ball and pushing that all the way up so it's inside. That's our spacer between our pans. Doing it again. Another tart pan all the way up to the wooden ball. That's why you don't have to do anything to these wooden balls because they're not really seen. And another ball. And our last tart pan. So see how quickly this is going together? So this is what we've got so far. This is what we're going to hang it with. And I just thought the jingle bell looked cute there. You can use a bead. Like I said, you could use those wooden ones. And see, my buttons are all different sizes. I didn't stack those in sizes. I just stuck them on there. We have our 3 tart pans with our 2 wooden balls. Now at this point, I'm taking a little bit bigger button and I'm going to do the same thing we did with the other buttons. Separate the wire. One wire goes through each hole. Hi, Stephanie. Now here is where I'm going to use hot glue. Right where the wire comes out of this tart pan, I'm going to put a little bit of glue for that button to stick to. Just a little bit. It doesn't take much. And then I'm going to push this button all the way down. And I'm going to use my paintbrush to push it all the way to the top. So it's touching that tart pan. And push it down. Can you see that? I'm going to separate my wires again. And at the top of this key, you know, all keys have a hole. So I'm doing the same thing as I did with the jingle bell. I'm putting one wire through one way and one wire through the other way. And what that does is it's going to hold this key straight instead of it being, because when I put it on yesterday, I put both wires through at the same time and the key was like at an angle. But this way the key stays straight. That way you don't have to keep bending your wire to make something straight. So I got one wire going one way, and I'm going to push the other wire the other way. And then I'm just going to push this down. Now at this point you can decide how much of your key you want to show. So I push this right to the top of this, the scroll part on this key, so it is even with the bottom of the pan. And I'm going to cut this wire, because you need about maybe an inch. And this is where your pliers are going to come in handy. You're going to take both of these wires and make a hook. Can you see that hook? And then you want to pull the key up into that hook. And then take your wire and push it together. And you're going to pinch it. And by doing that, it holds it. And then you want to take your ends and you want to fold them back. Let me get a piece of wire and show you. So we made a hook and our key is here. So then pinch it closed. And then take the ends of the wire and fold them back. And then that way your key is stuck in this little loop there. So I know you can't see down inside of here. This is actually the hardest part of this, is bending this wire so this key stays on. And we have a bell. See how quick that went? So these would make good office gifts, a bell collector gift. Well, we have 10 minutes in this bell. We did the whole entire thing. So we're going to do one more, just so you get all the steps. See, these are so thin that just goes straight on there. Got another piece of wire. So you need approximately 24 inches of this. This is the last of this wire. Now this wire I get from Home Depot, Lowe's, even Harbor Freight carries it. Now you can get 20 gauge wire at Hobby Lobby, but for the same exact price, you get a lot larger roll. So that's why I say look for your craft supplies in other places than your craft stores. Because I bought this roll that I'm just finishing up last winter, and I'm just finishing it. There was so much on here. I almost forgot to make my loop. So I'm taking my wire through the hole one way. And then I'm going to take it the other way. That's why I say you want your wire stiff, but you want it still pliable to where you can bend it and do something like this with it. There we go. So we're going to put, let's do one with beads. So let's put 2 beads on here so we can see what the ones with the beads look like. But you get a lot of these beads for $1.25 from the Dollar Tree. So we're going to put on our first tart. Oh, this one's not, the hole's not big enough. What did I do with my nail? You can definitely do this with a drill, but look how easy that went through there. Put that on there. And I'm going to use some more of these as our spacers, because I forgot to get other bigger beads, and they're behind me on the shelf. So we're going to use those. I'm using 2. Another tart pan. Now if you have beads, definitely use those instead of the wood. So I'm going to put a dab of glue. And a button. Now you could use a bead here too. I don't want to burn my fingers before I go to Bible study tonight. I woke up this morning, could hardly talk. I was like, oops, I'm coming down with something. So there we go. See how fast these go together? So you can go on eBay and look for these things. Now on this one, I'm going to use a jingle bell as my clacker. Let's get one that's a little rusty looking. Maybe we'll use 2 rusty ones. I'll feed these on. Let's add a couple more. Now these rusty jingle bells you can get at Hobby Lobby. I think Walmart has them. These ones I got from Temu. I'm going to put 4 of them. And same here too. I'm going to make a hook. Let some of the bells come down into that. And we'll put 2 into that hook. And I'm going to squeeze it closed. And then bend it back like we did. I think it's easier to use my fingers than those pliers. Needle nose pliers would work. Bring the other 2 bells down. And there you go. Now we have one. See the jingle bells? So what do you think of these? So we did 2 of these in 20 minutes. Would you make these? Now I have something else that we're going to be making with these tart pans. There's ones with the keys. Now you don't have to use the key I use. You can just use an old key you have. You know, we all have old keys. So let me know what you think. If you try these, let me know. Just a quick craft. Look, I'm getting flushed. I'm getting a fever. Yeah, I'm coming down with something. So it's that time of the year, you know. So thanks for joining me for this really quick bell. Now, wouldn't this look cute if you just used one of these and you put a drawer pull on the top? Just put a little clacker in there. Thanks, everybody. God bless you. Have a great evening. Stay warm, because I am freezing to death, and it's 50 degrees here, and I am freezing to death. I cannot get warm enough. I was freezing today at work. They were making fun of me. So, yep, I'm coming down with something, I guess. God bless you. Have a great night.